So I ended up starting to like cut myself as like a young girl. I didn't really know much about it. I was also like, why am I doing this? But also like it became my coping mechanism for a while. The first time my mom found out, I was doing a show at the time. Like I was, because I was still in musical theater. It was like right in the beginning. The area I was doing it was on my arms and stuff, which is like, why the fuck was I doing that in the summer? Like, girl brain. I had to go to rehearsal, but I couldn't wear short sleeves because so I wore a sweatshirt. We were rehearsing in a different location that day. The location that we were rehearsing in didn't have AC. So I had to do all my dances and I was like super dehydrated. I was sweating. Like I got really, really dizzy. And when she finally picked me up, I ended up passing out in the car because I was so hot. And she was like, take off your sweater. And I'm like, no. And so she ended up taking me to the emergency room just to get like an IV.
Yeah.
And at first they put the IV in my hand, but it hurt so bad. And I was like, no, I need to keep this through because I know they're gonna like
want to do it over here.
Yeah, want to do it like on here. And I was like, oh, like no. And I literally couldn't. Like I was like, and they're like, we can move it. And I'm like, no, it's fine. And they're like, well, we're gonna move it. So they pulled up my arm, and I was kind of like, I was keeping my arm like this, and they were like, girl.
Like, bitch,
we need to put it in. And they flipped my arm around and they were like, what's this? And I was like, oh, it's just dog scratches. Like,
did you have like a lot of them like down your hand?
It was in the beginning, so I don't think so. Okay. But it was like, it didn't look like a dog scratch. Like and I was young, so it was kind of like you automatically assume, because I feel like it's very common with like younger kids. She was like, okay. And she left the room and I was like, fuck. I got clocked. They went to my mom and they're like, hey, so we think your daughter is like cutting herself. And she's like, what is that? And she's like, oh no, Miranda doesn't do that. Like what? Like she's not depressed. What? Yeah. And they're like, no, we think she is. They brought in like a psychologist,
like a therapist,
just to like talk to me and kind of come up with a game plan. And like they like told me like, okay, you need to start going to therapy and stuff like that. And my mom, I think for a while, she was like, oh, I just picked it up at school and I'll grow out of it.
Yeah.
Because then, she made a pact with me. She's like, okay, you need to stop doing this. Like, and I was like, okay, I promise I will. But I just started doing it in areas where
it was invisible.
Yeah.